today. But I want to say good evening. I want to say thanks for coming out. I appreciate y'all so much. Welcome to the intermediate for some of you. I see we have some familiar faces that have been here before, but some of you, this is the very first time. I'm Miss Rogers, the principal here. Miss Young is not here this evening, but she normally is here with me. And I just hope it's been a really good start. I was joking with the 5th grade parents a while ago, and I said, do you remember a year ago? Because I don't know if you remember us when you were 2nd grade parents and how we probably invaded some of the traffic space that first day of school. So look how far we've come. And so it's been a really, really great start. I hope you enjoyed the building. We got a fresh coat of paint, thanks to the board and Mr. Sims. It's just been a really good start. Your kiddos are awesome. I mean, you got some really good kids that you have brought us this year. So thank you for sharing them with us. Got a great team. I'm going to hand it over to them in just a second. Before you leave tonight, make sure and stop in the cafe. The Spirit Shop is exploded in there. Grandparents' Day is coming up. There's grandparents' t-shirts. There's hats. There's umbrellas. It's going to rain again sometime. There's hats. So be sure you stop in there. And then I was also asked by our board president, Ms. Sturba, she wanted me to let you know that we also have 2 openings on the board. And so if that's something that interests you and you would like to get more involved with our district, check that out. And there's some openings on the board at this time. And with that, I hand over to 3rd grade.
Hi, I'm Patrick Beaufort. Nice to see everybody out here tonight. I guess I'll step away from everybody else. I just want to welcome everybody. I want to take a minute just to talk about the school before we move on. I know you guys know, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but I got 3 girls that attend Arlington Classics. I got 1 still at intermediate, 2 at the middle school, and I brought them here for the same reason you guys did. It's a better community for them. The amazing thing is I've worked in other schools, I've worked in different places. What really I love about ACA the most is that everybody who's here, and that includes you, that includes us, that includes the kids, everybody who's here wants to be here. And that's not an experience I've had other places I've been. So what I really want to put forward is we all very much want to be here. And we're here for your kids. We're here to communicate with you. If you have any questions, any time for us, if there's ever anything you're concerned about, and some of you have been really good about reaching out already this year and letting us know about that. If there's ever anything that you need us to know, just keep an eye on so-and-so. We had a tough day at home and you might need a little extra care. That's what we're here for. We're here to make sure your child gets the best education they can. We're here to push the Western civilization. We still do core knowledge along with the TEKS. We do novels, which is pretty unheard of in 3rd grade. We do a lot of things that kind of push them forward, and we do it at least in 3rd grade. We're a pretty nurturing environment still. Not quite as nurturing as 2nd grade, I'm not going to lie to you, but still pretty nurturing. So I figured I'd give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. Or do you want me to introduce you and make up a fact about each of you? Because I'm willing to do that. All right. So we have 3 different groups this year. Now we all do the same thing, but you guys know by now there's 2 groups of 3 and there's a group of 2. So I'm in the group. I'm green, right?
Yes,
I can't remember the colors. I wanted to do mythical creatures or possibly sea animals, and I wanted to be the seahorses. But, so we're just going to call green seahorses for the rest of this evening. The other seahorses, we have Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez is an expert in the art of paper. He actually makes those things that crawl all the way up to the ceiling. I said I was going to make up a fact about you. He also refuses to use the letter I. So if you listen carefully to him, he actually admits it from all the words. Mr. Rodriguez teaches math. I probably ought to stop. Miss Rachel, my other seahorse, Miss Martin. I was going to bring a nice flashlight to shine on her. Miss Martin actually can dance for 12 hours straight, but only in high heels. It's the opposite of what you usually see. So Miss Martin is teaching social studies and science with us this year.
You forgot to say I was teaching math.
Oh, and Mr. Rodriguez is teaching math, and I teach ELAR, which is reading, writing, but not arithmetic. Now, do you guys want to do your own team?
Yeah, I think it's
okay. We'll be here all night.
We are the blue team. I am Laura Munoz. I teach ELAR. This is my 34th year to teach, and 33 of those years have been in 3rd grade, so I know a little bit about the 3rd grade. Go ahead.
Don't you want to make up a fact?
Yeah.
I was going to listen. I'm Karen Cook. I teach social studies and science, and I started teaching here after my boys went through the school. So I was a parent, now I'm a teacher. So my youngest is a senior in high school, so he's been successful. Okay. All right.
I'm Crystal Reed. I'm teaching math. I've been teaching, this is my 2nd full year, so I'm really excited. I have 2 children. One's a 7th grader here that's starting from kindergarten, and I also have a 3rd grader who I'm teaching as well. So I'm really excited.
And the other.
Hi, we are the Yellow Team. My name is Alyssa Mazlanka. I am going on my 5th year of teaching. I'm so excited. And 4 of those years have been with 4 have been with 3rd grade. So,
I'm Jody Pritchell. I teach math and science for the Yellow Team. I have been in ACA this is my 4th year now. This will be my 1st year in 3rd grade. I've been teaching 5th for the past few years, but I'm super excited.
In the past, we have this nice packet with all the information about contacting and planners and web pages, but we realized you're both computer and literate. So this will be on our website, on the 3rd grade team website. Please take the time to read it over, but I'm not going to read it to you because, again, I trust that you guys know what's going on with that. I do want to take a few minutes and talk about, you want to come up? Are you guys coming up with me for ELAR? Come on, ELAR people. So we're going to take this a minute to talk about our curriculum and what your kids are going to be learning with us this year. First of all, do you want to cover one?
For reading this year, we are going to start at a basal, which is a book full of stories. Each week we'll introduce a story on Monday, and we will test them on Friday. That'll be an open book test because it's important for 3rd graders to go back in and find the information. That's something that we really work on, that skill. So that we do that pretty much the first semester, and then right around the middle of the year we're going to switch over to our novel studies. This year we will be doing Alice in Wonderland, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And we'll also be doing a unit on biographies, who is, who was, who were. We'll add to that as we go. But that's pretty much what we do every day. Writing, you have to talk about
writing, we will also be incorporating writing with reading. We'll be doing first we'll be doing a descriptive essay, and we'll be doing a research essay as well, and other types, I'm blank, but we will be doing different types of writing throughout the year.
And then in reading also, just in case you wonder, we also slide difficulty for your students because we know a lot of them are reading above 3rd grade level, and we don't. The last thing we want is for them to be bored. Last thing you want for them is to be bored. So we do a lot of work with. In the fall, we actually have pulled materials from other grades, so they might come home with 4th grade work. Now we make sure we support them. We change them every week if they need to change. We make sure that they're where they need to be. But our main thing is if your student is struggling in reading, we're going to help them get better at reading. If your student is ahead at reading, we don't want them to sit there and stagnate. We want them to keep moving. So we're going to do everything we can. Again, if you see things at home, if you need to bring things to our attention for reading or writing, and writing's a little easier to slide because some of them write better than others. But anyway, please let us know so that we can. Okay, there's a fly attack. So that we can best meet their needs and your needs. So math.
Well, actually, we also teach spelling, and we'll have a spelling test every Thursday. We give them their list of spelling words every Thursday, and then we'll give them the test the following Thursday. And we're also going to be the poetry teachers, so they will have a poem that we've already passed out, and we usually give them about 3 weeks to learn the poem. And then they will recite it, or they will fill in the blank for the really long poems. And there's no word bank, and the kids are freaking out about that, you know, when we tell them the first time. But they do great, they really do. And we don't count off for their spelling on it, and they'll be fine. I saw some eyebrows go.
All right, Matt.
We have a question.
Oh, good question.
On the spelling test, will we end up with an A/B list like we did last year?
No, and we are doing, though, all of them are going to be based on spelling patterns. So it's not going to be like a word over here, a word over here. It's like, you might have noticed last week it was a long A pattern, and it's spelled with A-Y or A-I or just A. This week we're doing long E, so it's done with E-A, E-I, and E-Y, if I remember correctly. So we're working them in patterns to make it a little bit less daunting, so they can kind of sort them and work on those patterns, because it's a little more effective, and it helps them a little bit more over the long run if they're learning the patterns and not just some vocabulary words. Yeah.
Any reading projects?
We don't have any that we're sending home at this time, but that's something we're still in discussions about. So we'll let you know if there are. Yes?
I was wondering, are you going to teach inline skating?
Not between 3:30 and 4, because there's a lot of traffic out there, and I'm okay with it, but I'm not taking you out there. You let me know. We can come and skate that thing all you want to another time. Yes?
So, into second grade, we learned cursive. Is that continuing?
Yes, cursive is also continuing, capitals and lower cases. It should start next week. So we've got kind of a plan for that. It's third grade. That's our, I know you're getting it too, aren't you? You got the fly. It's one of our teams in third grade, so it's something that if we don't handle it, it doesn't always get handled. So we're going to work on writing it, and we're also going to work a little bit on reading it, because I learned a couple of years ago that sometimes they can write it, but they can't read it. So yes, we are going to work on cursive this year, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
The weekly reading, is that going to come home on Mondays?
Good question, yes. We do have a reading log. We require them to read 20 minutes every night. All of us feel that it's very important for them to get that practice in. We've started something this year while they're waiting to be picked up, and that is if they're sitting in the hall, we require them to get out their book and read. If we're holding them for homework and health for the 30 minutes while teachers are on duty, we're asking them to read. So we're trying to get a lot of that reading done for the reading log at school, but they are going to receive it on Monday. It will be expected to come back the following Monday.
Now, are you talking about that, or are you talking about the Basil stories?
The basil.
Okay,
Oh,
the
I'm
Basil
sorry.
stories, if they're in the third grade story and you think they need that little bit of extra support, we can actually loan them a book. The problem is, like, we have a fourth grade book as well. We only have exactly the number of fourth grade books we need. So if they're in the fourth grade book, we probably can't send it home. But if it's something where you see they don't do well in that quiz and you want to you want them to have a little extra time, please contact us. We can loan a book out to home. We have enough that we can do that. We just don't have enough of the fourth grade ones. So yes, if you see that there's a problem, we can loan you a book. Absolutely. All right. Any other questions for reading, writing? All right, let's move on to arithmetic.
Okay, so first of all, math is going to be very familiar with you guys because we're kind of doing what you guys did last year. So what we're doing is we're sending home a packet on Monday, and it's 4 days of work, and they're very small. They're like 8 problems a night. We'd love for them to show their work as much as they can so we can see what they're thinking and how they're working through the problems. That's due on Friday, okay? Let's see what else.
Last week, as you might have seen, we started with facts, with addition facts, and that sounds really easy, but our goal is for them to instantly be able to give us answers. When we did patterns like 7 plus 7, and we were teaching them that's 14, so if you know 7 plus 7 is 14, what's 7 plus 8? 15. It's one more. And that's what we're trying to do in class, and that's where we started last week. And then this week we moved on to place value. And we're going up to the 100,000s. And as opposed to giving them an assessment, a chapter test, at the end of an entire chapter, we're assessing them at the end of the week. So it's mini assessments. as opposed to giving them a big test at the end and stressing them out. It's going to be a shorter test.
Yes.
I think like under 11 questions.
It's 10 to 11 questions now.
Yeah, 10 to 11 questions. And that's going to be tomorrow. We'll have the first assessment tomorrow, and we'll continue to do that every Friday. Did you say that the packet was due every Friday also?
The packet's due Friday, and I know a lot of you probably have questions because on the very last page, it is a bubbling. And I know everybody's so confused about that. But tomorrow will be our first time that we get together, and we can, if the kids are confused, we can clear all that up tomorrow. What we want them to do is, it's a multiple choice. So like if it's number 1, it's day 1, 2, 3, 4. Depending on how you take your paper and you number it, day 1, day 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer number 1 for day 1, if the answer is B, you're going to take that answer, you're going to go to the very back page, you're going to find number 1, and it's A, B, C, or D. So you're going to move over to B and go all the way up and just circle it in, okay? What we're wanting to do there is we're having to take the STAR test this year, and it's all on Scantron. And we have, working with 3rd graders, they don't do that great of a job there. So we're trying to prepare them for when they have to come and do that. So I know it's confusing, so all I ask of you, and I'm sure that the 2 of them too as well, just do the best you can this first time around and we'll figure it out.
And going back to the math facts, the addition math facts, we're also bringing in a new program. It's not new, but we're using it for the first time since I've been here. It's Extra Math. And we've given them their passwords, correct?
We'll be getting them, Yellow will be getting them.
Okay. Most of them already have their passwords, and like she said, she's giving them out. And this is something they can do at home. It's under 10 minutes, but if they do it every day, it's like their math vitamin, and it's going to really help. When they master the addition, it'll graduate them over to subtraction, and then multiplication, and eventually division. And they do get a certificate every time they master one of those addition, subtraction, multiplication, division.
It kicks them out after a
10
certain
minutes.
amount of time, so they can't do more than that. Because after a certain point, it's no longer helpful. They're just if they get it in those just daily small chunks, it means more than if they're doing 30 minutes one night a week. So it makes them do just in small, short spurts.
I think I have a question. That's what I was just about to get to. Think through math. Last year it was homework. We are not doing that this year, okay? We're going to use that. A lot of parents are probably happy. I know that's very confusing. But in our classes, we are rotating in small groups, so we can work with small groups of kids, okay?
And they get to do Think Through Math in the class. And you asked what the difference is. Think Through Math is, for example, we're doing place value right now. Well, all those different skills that we're doing, where Extra Math is just based on facts. Addition facts, subtraction, multiplication, division.
Where Think Through Math is more based on the concept.
Yes.
Like place value overall as a concept. And Think Through Math also helps that we've set it up so that way if they're struggling in one area, then it will remediate that for them. And if they're doing really well in an area, then they can move through it quicker and they don't have to spend as much time in that area, and they can get to what they really need help with.
And another thing too is instead of just teaching from the 3rd grade math textbook, we're getting away from that as much as we can, and we're teaching more in small group instruction and rotating the kids and having them, for example, with place value, we're taking the blocks, the base 10 blocks out, and having them build different ways of making numbers, and that's just an example because that's what we're on now, but we're doing that for all of the lessons.
A lot of hands-on, just not looking at paper, but looking at, manipulatives and stuff like that so they can see them.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So for the weekly assessments, will you communicate what you're covering each week so we can go over that with them at home? Or is that really what you're doing in class and the assessments at the end of the week and there's not something that we should be working on at home?
It's what we're doing in class that week. The assessment, they should know it.
But if you're
wanting more,
we have the textbook, which we're not, like I said, we're not using that much of this year. We can take those pages and send them home, and you can review with them at home.
But that's the timed assessment, is that right? The timed
That's
test
the
that we
speed
were-
test. The speed test is 5 minutes,
And it's simply the facts.
and that's just the facts. And then we're also doing the concepts, which is the other assessment, so it's 2.
So is the only thing that they need to be doing at home is the extra math, or same through math that they do at home?
They can do either or.
Okay.
Yeah, or both, yeah.
But the only thing they're required to do at home for homework is the daily moves.
The homework.
Or that homework packet that's sent. That's the only thing that they're required that they will be expected to return.
But if you want to put them on for 15 minutes on Think Through Math and another session of extra math, go ahead. I mean, that would be music to my ears.
Seeing is maybe her folder, it's called the work in progress, is that something she doesn't work on at home?
It's in the green folder. Yes, do not, if there are papers in that green folder, do not take that out. That is, if we don't finish it in class, we can go back in there, pull it out, and continue the next day or so. So don't take any of those papers out. Because they get upset, they're like, I didn't take it out. And so I understand, just leave it in there.
And for the yellow parents, you've never seen it because we just keep them in our rooms. Because there are only 2 of us, so it just creates less, it's easier. So we just let them in.
And another thing that we're doing new this year is we are doing problem of the day. And what's great about problem of the day is they get a different problem every day. They have to work it out. And then once they work it out, they have to explain how they came up with the answer. And that's really hard for all students, especially 3rd graders, to be able to explain. But I'm already seeing progress.
Yeah.
And it's only the second week of school, but they're getting good. They're writing and explaining how they came up with their answers.
Where is the math facts password going to be at in the login information if we don't already have it?
It's in their planner, okay? You need to look in that every night. I know you'll look through that. But where I put it is when you open the planner, the hardcover, if you open it up, it is right there.
Okay. Is
And
there
they're
a separate piece of paper? Is it written down in some?
actually,
okay.
actually, it's right here. Let's see, is there a password here? Right here, password
Okay.
keeper, it's right here. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the front. I put it right on this first page, so it's on there.
They should know where it
Because I
is.
looked through stuff, but I didn't know if I missed
And
it.
it's glued in there,
Okay.
not with a glue stick. It's glued in there with
Anything else?
It's not coming out.
Any other questions? Please ask.
And if you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask us.
We will be doing Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, of course, and we're also doing core knowledge along with it. So it's mostly all done at school. Sometimes you may get homework for social studies, depending on time. So please be patient with that, and help us get through that because social studies we don't have much time. So there we go.
For social studies, as Mrs. Maslanka was saying, for social studies, we do integrate that core knowledge piece. That's the history and geography of the world. So they're learning about lots of different features, and lots more information is being added to what they already know from 2nd grade. Like she said, most of that work will be done in class. There won't be a lot of homework, quizzes, tests, or anything like that from social studies because like for 2 of us, we teach social studies and science. So what that looks like every day is Monday, Tuesdays, we spend most of that time on social studies, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because of our experiments and all of those things, we spend on science.
Yes. Favorite subject, science. Jody and Mallory and I have been working really hard on getting your kids ready for science and getting them excited about what we're doing in science. You're probably very familiar with the STEM scopes. Where's the textbook? STEM scopes. I know you've had it in 2nd grade, so if you're new here, this is what we use, STEM scopes. We have 3 textbooks that they will have at school. This is the text that we will use. You have access to this online when we send the passwords home. Hopefully this next week. I know that they're working on loading those passwords in today. So hopefully we'll get them by next week and get them out to you in that password page in the front of the planner. So you have total access to this at home. We also have a literacy piece that has a reading portion with multiple choice questions that's right on topic of what the topics are that we're going over. And then it's got a writing piece that they will work through in the book. They will not be bringing this one home. The last one is their Explore Journal, and this is just a guide for the experiments that we will be doing in class. So, and these are theirs that they will bring home at the end of the year. So if they show up without these books, you send them back to me and tell them, I need those books. So, great program. A lot of it is online. We'll be giving you access to the pieces that we can. There are some neat games that they can play online and songs that they can do online. So, love this program. It's exciting. Science, the week that we have a test, we're not going to give them homework because we want them to be studying for the test. And so the following week after the test, we'll typically send home a homework that's either on that topic that we've just finished or on the new topic that we're doing. We hit them really hard on vocabulary. So when we do the STEM Scopes test, we'll also give them a vocabulary test. They should be coming home every night with a vocabulary sheet, and typically it's about 12 to 15 words, where they will write the word and then they'll write the definition, and then on the side they're supposed to draw a meaningful picture to them about that word. That kind of helps it stick in the brain when they have to think about, how am I going to depict matter in a picture? So it kind of helps them with that. So vocabulary, we're going to hit that hard. For the test, they can study their closing in on science that they'll be bringing home. That's like a review for what's in the test. They can, they'll be bringing home the Science Rock lyrics, the words to the Science Rock song, and those are excellent because they have all the concepts in the materials and supplies for our science experiments. So we'll be putting that on Sign Up Genius so that we can get your email, so we can send you a friendly reminder that we're going to do pancakes for everybody next Thursday. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not. We need pancakes for everybody, but not next Thursday. Okay, any questions? Yes?
This might be for all the subjects. Will we still have like one project every 9 weeks like we have up until this point? No?
You had that in second grade?
Since kindergarten.
I'm sorry?
Since kindergarten. They've
Since
always had
kindergarten?
one
Oh,
project.
yeah, we can do that.
No problem. What's your request?
Thanks for setting the standard so high.
Are you talking about science or social studies? No, it was sometimes reading regular over.
I'm going to go with stay tuned.
Ms. Friend has a question.
Yes.
A general question also, planners for parents.
We're about to talk about that. Yeah, that's the last thing. We have two things we want to mention. That's one of them. So why don't we do that now since you're here? All right. So no, thank you so much. That's what we're leading into. Planners. Two things, just reminders before we get to the last of the questions. Every day we need you to. There's a. Every day they write in the planners. Now I know some of us, we send home the planner notes, but at the very bottom there's a thing for parent signature, and we need you to initial or sign at the bottom each and every day. If there's nothing, if they're going to write their homework and then there's a behavior thing, if the behavior is blank, that means they did awesome. We just aren't big stamp people. They did awesome. So if you'll sign it or initial at the bottom every day, that just shows us that you're seeing it, you know what's going on. If you ever need to write a note to us, you can do that in there because we glance at it. And just make sure, if you could, that you add, just put a little signature. You might do what I do, what we do at our house, because we're not real, sadly enough, we're not that good at remembering. So the kids bring it to us with a pencil. They know they have to come to us with a pencil. Train them to do it, and you'll never have to worry about it again. So that's the planner. So please, if you could sign that every day. And then the other thing is, and you might all be signed up. We have a lot of people signed up, but each of the groups has a Remind. And Remind is great because we can send any sort of information about upcoming events. I know our pod, we send planner notes. Usually we can send like the poem, another copy of the poem. We can send all that. You can communicate with us through Remind. It's a really good two-way communication thing. So if you haven't joined yet, find somebody from your kids' pod and get with them, because there's a little code you just put in. You can text it, and you can get them via text, or you can use the app, and you can get it on email. You can get it any which way you want to, but we use it a lot. That's our main form of communication to you, because emails take forever to put all the names in.
And along those lines, what we tried to do this year was we only have one remind for each team. Instead of getting one from math, one from ELAR, one from science, one from social studies. If any of those teachers have something they need to put out, they're going to send it out on that color team's remind. And then each of us have a homeroom remind. You don't need to sign up. It's only with your homeroom teacher, because when we come to having parties, if we need to send out information about sign-ups, then we'll send it on that.
Now, we do not have homeroom reminds, but you can send to a specific teacher. We learned this the hard way the other day. All you do is, if you want to just write to, for example, if you want to just write to Ms. Martin, just find an announcement she's done, poke it, and it'll pop up and you'll reply just to Ms. Martin. So if you want to get a hold of just one teacher, find an announcement from them, touch it, and you can write to that teacher and get it straight to them. Okay? Any other questions generally? Yeah?
So just general questions about how children live. So what are bathroom policies, snacks, water policies, that sort of thing?
Okay, bathroom policies. It depends on the day, but we usually get one or two whole class restroom breaks in. On top of that, we are allowed to send 2 at a time. We have had a couple of problems here and there in the restroom, so we have to be vigilant about it, as that's one of our pillars. So we send 2 at a time. We make sure if they need to go, they go. Just let us know. You guys need to let us know if it's something where your child has a condition where it's like right now, right here, or else, there's going to be a problem. We need to know. Because usually it might be, if we've got 2 kids going, they might have to wait till those 2 kids back before we can send 2 more. Water, we've got water fountains down there. We let them fill up at lunch. They have the beautiful cascading water filler of amazement in there. So they can have water bottles in class. Different teachers are a little different about whether they want them on the desks and stuff, but they can carry a water bottle with them throughout the day always. And then,
I'm sorry, do you ask that you have a water bottle with a sports top on it? I can't tell you how many spills we've already had. The ones that pop off and there's a hole about this big that they suck from, they get knocked over, they pop off, and they're all over the floor. So that interrupts instruction.
And then,
Spirit Shop has some for sale.
oh, Spirit Shop has for sale, I think I heard. And then snacks. Okay, so we are allowing them to bring a healthy snack to eat, but it has to be something dry. We're not getting the spoons out because of our schedule this year. If you've had 3rd graders like in last year, we had a huge afternoon and we didn't have any breaks and all that kind of stuff. Well, now we go to specials near the end of the day. So they have to have a snack during a class this time. So it's fine, you can send them with a snack. Each pod has a slightly different, or group or whatever we're calling them, has a slightly different time they can have that snack, but it has to be a dry, something they can just eat, because we usually eat it while we're working. Okay? Yeah?
Is there a guideline about what they can take as a snack? My son told me it's only allowed to be a healthy snack, so I get the feeling that our idea of what's healthy and y'all's idea might be different.
True, we might have different ideas of that. Mine's probably looser than yours.
I was going to say, that's what we tell them, but we're not going to snag a brownie.
Yeah, I got better things to do than police exactly what they're putting in their mouth. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm kind of if it doesn't affect us, then I'm kind of okay, healthy enough for me. That's kind of how I live.
And on that note, most of you have probably found out by this point that we are a nut-friendly campus. I don't know if you're going to touch base on that, but next door is nut-free. And so, but we do have several precautions in place to address any students with allergies or nut allergies or any food allergies. So along those lines, sometimes there may be a classroom where there is a severe allergy, airborne, just inhaling, to where there has to be specific snacks. Right now, it's not. We don't have that concern across the whole grade level. But if there was a certain thing that they could not eat, we would let you know. But it would be a class-by-class basis. Yes, ma'am?
I am curious because I did get a letter from the nurse classroom stating that there was a kid there with a severe peanut allergy. So she can't have anything with peanut for lunch either? Or is it just...
Lunch is fine.
Lunch is fine. Yes, we have precautions set in place for lunch. But when they're in in the classroom for snack, they cannot be near for snack time.
Yeah.
So for those of us on the yellow team, there's no need to keep up with green or blue communications for anything. Like it used to be pod level things would happen,
Right.
and now.
No, I mean, really, there are things that we're all going to send out. You really need to just worry about yellow unless you just love seeing seeing what I got to say. I don't know. It's not that interesting. I'm not going to lie to you.
But if we split and go with the other groups for, I guess.
Okay, the only split, yeah, the only splitting is recess and lunch.
Okay,
And
that's
if
it.
we ever have something we got to send for that, we'll just get together and send it to both. But yeah, that's the only time that that would be an option. And again, right now, I can't think of what there'd be a problem with, but if there is, we'll make sure it goes to both. Yeah, you're good if you're just on yellow. Any other general questions for everybody? Well, we thank you so much. I know it's late. I know you guys want to go home.
I did one last thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was there
No, it's okay. Before the release, I have two things, and then I'll let you do the very end. Those of you that are brand new to us, because you are brand new, there is also, as you walk out through the glass doors, there is a remind for our campus. I know there's lots of reminds right now as the district is evolving to that and not using school reach like we have in the past. You can just take a picture of it with your phone. It has how to sign up. We use that a lot. I know that your class in particular, the rollover, maybe you didn't get picked up because you're new to us. So if you snap a picture of that, you will get everything, and I won't do it at 6 a.m. in the morning or at midnight. I've learned how to schedule, and somebody, I learned that the hard way, but somebody also brought up in the last session that if you're getting a remind that is a text, an email, and I don't know, a phone, another way, but you're getting all the same information 3 and 4 and 5 times, you can go into your settings and you can choose how you receive things. So if you're getting the same message 5 times, just go into your settings on your remind and just fix it like, hey, I just want to be text, or I just want to be emailed, and that way it's not, your phone's not going off 1,000 times. Okay? Anytime you have questions, I know you're new to us. I know there are a little bit of differences when you cross the pavement, but please know that our doors are open. We're glad you're here. You can ask any question, and you've got a great team. Those of you that have been here with us before, one thing I hope you notice is you've got all 8, and all 8 are trying to be on the same page and working to be on the same page. So it's not this pod, that pod. They are really working together to be as consistent as possible for you. So thank you for coming from me, and now I'll let Mr. Hofer conclude.
You did a great job. If you have any questions, we'll be around for a few minutes.